Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? In today's video, we have a little bit more Fallout 76 news, looking at a few of the upcoming events for the game that will keep us busy over the next couple of weeks, including the second anniversary of the game. And we also have some new details shared by the developers regarding Steel Dawn, which is due next month, and that looks very, very interesting, and I'm sure you'll be as interested as I am. So, let's get to it, shall we? Okay then, so we have a brand new Inside the Vault blog post, a little peek at Atlas Observatory here from a fairly predictable angle. So, Steel Dawn, Dev Dive and November events. Quite a few bits and pieces lined up over the next few weeks, so it should be cool, should be plenty to keep us busy. But this week we're sharing a new Dev Dive video where we sat down with the Fallout 76 developers to take a deeper look at the upcoming Steel Dawn questline that's coming with an update in December. We are kicking off a new Hunt for the Treasure Hunter event a little later today and sharing details on our anniversary events taking place in-game next week. Read on for the details. So, first up, the very, very interesting features and information coming out around Steel Dawn. So they've done, as I said, a new Dev Dive video, so it's a little conversation with the developers, or two of them, regarding the upcoming content, and a lot of it's stuff we know about. It's not massively expansive, but there's a few details in here that are very, very cool and well worth a look. So, as per usual, down in the description you can find a link to the blog post wherein you will find the video, and a few of the details here that I wanted to share in particular. So, the Brotherhood of Steel is returning to Appalachia in our Steel Dawn update that's on its way to Fallout 76 in December. Alongside the group's arrival, we're adding the first part of an all-new questline to the game, where you'll rendezvous with the Brotherhood to learn what they're doing here and how you can lend a hand with their efforts. Recently, we sat down with Mark Tucker and Brianna Schneider from the design team to chat about new quests, locations, characters, rewards, and much, much more. Watch our latest Dev Dive video below to hear Mark and Brianna's thoughts from the development perspective, catch footage from the new questline, and get prepped for the patch day next month. So, there's the video down there. As a reminder, those of you who own a copy of Fallout 76 through BethesdaNet can join us on the public test server to try out Steel Dawn right now. Playtest the new quests and let us know what you think by posting in the PTS forum. In case you missed it, we also released a Dev Dive video last week focusing on the Camp Shelters feature, and you can head here to check it out. So that link, as I say, is in the blog post down below, and if you want to check out my video on it, up here. So, the little Dev Dive here, it's about 15 minutes long, worth a look if you're interested, but there's a few points that were particularly interesting in this that I wanted to pull out. So, the developers both mentioned that it was going to be a bit smaller than Wastelanders, which doesn't come as a massive surprise, really. Wastelanders was a massive update that, in many ways, started almost immediately after the game's launch, and they worked on it for the better part of 18 months in one form or another, and well over a year as being their key focus. So, not massively surprising that this update is a bit smaller than that, but it's also part one of two updates and probably will lead into subsequent stuff that's for next year that they haven't announced yet, so not too surprised about that. They have said that it is, where are we? Around about the size of one faction quest line from Wastelanders, so either the Settlers or the Raiders, basically. So not massively long, but there's a good bit of stuff to get stuck into there, and obviously it is going to continue further on down the line. This is basically just the introductory quests that were originally intended to be a separate update, but they're coming kind of closer together because of life, the universe, everything, COVID, all that good stuff that's kind of forced them to push stuff closer together. So, we know that there is a relatively small group of Brotherhood of Steel members at Fort Atlas, which we've established from having a little look around the other week. But the actual number that's set out from California, apparently, is 5 Brotherhood officers. Apparently only 3 made it all the way to Appalachia, but given that they had to walk from California in a post-apocalyptic landscape, the 3 out of 5 is not terrible in terms of a survival rate. So that makes a bit of sense. I'd have been very surprised if the full group hadn't made it intact. So it definitely makes sense, and it will be interesting to find out a lot more about their journey. We do also know and find out from this little video that they actually picked up a few initiates along the way, people they managed to recruit who joined their journey to Appalachia after they had left California, which is cool. So a couple of people there who are not actually sort of local to Appalachia, but also not the initial Brotherhood of Steel group either. They obviously set out with the intention of recruiting once they got to Appalachia. As the devs did say, it's actually one of their goals is to found a new chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel here. So very, very interesting and kind of what we expected, but interesting to hear some sort of confirmation on that, which is very, very cool. So there's obviously a big question of their interactions with other factions, and as we can probably guess a little bit, but good to have confirmed, there is going to be a kind of mixed bag of reactions there. Some people will get along with better than others, some will treat them as potential allies or friends, whereas other groups may view them as potential enemies. Obviously, one of those groups is going to be the Blood Eagles, because they view everybody as an enemy. But I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that the Raiders are not particularly fond of the Brotherhood's arrival. We already know that they consider themselves to be the only people with any right to be in Appalachia, and that everybody else is an invader, in their opinion. They're wrong, but, you know. So, given that they have this perspective, I would be astounded if they didn't turn out to view the Brotherhood also as invaders. So I can't imagine the relationship there is going to rub along very well. But interesting to hear a little bit about that. There's also a new group, well, a couple of new groups, in fact, who are going to be arriving in Appalachia along with this update, who will obviously interact with the Brotherhood Seal as well as the other factions. They're not exactly full factions, but sort of minor groups that will be involved in the storyline and obviously have relationships with the other groups. So very, very cool. So the devs did mention that we will be getting a few additional items and gave us a few little more details about where those items are going to come from. So we've already seen a few via the PTS. I covered them in an earlier video. You can find that somewhere linked on the playlist up here. Wasn't too long ago. But they've mentioned here a couple of other items that we didn't know about. There's a few camp items that we've not seen yet that you can actually acquire via the quest line. So that's very, very cool. A couple of Brotherhood of Steel themed items. So very, very interesting there. Obviously, some of the weapons that we've sort of touched on are going to be questline related as well. So they'll be open to everybody who pursues the questline, which is cool. And we also found out from this dev dive that the new pistol, I believe it's the... what was it called? Crusader pistol. Yes. That one is actually going to be a daily ops reward, which is interesting. So different approach to that. Mind you, daily ops are related to the Brotherhood Seal anyway, so... be interesting to find out what kind of relationship they end up having with Initiate Dodge once the new group comes in and meets this guy, and especially given his history and his backstory, so could be an interesting relationship there. But that's where that particular item is going to be rewarded from. We've also said that there are going to be other items coming along with the patch that are going to be added into the loot lists for daily ops, so if you haven't been particularly committed to grinding those out, you might want to grab the stuff that's there now. I don't imagine it will go away, but obviously if the loot pool gets larger, the percentage chance, basically, the odds of getting any given item drops. So have a good crack at it while you can and try and get those ones that are already there and give yourself the best chance to grab them all before the pool expands and your odds drop a little bit. So one of the other cool things it talks about is locations, which, as we pretty much would have expected, once again, some of the existing locations are getting an overhaul and getting redeveloped and repurposed for the new questline. Fort Atlas being a prime example of that. But there are also several new locations being added in as well. Most of those are story related, or that's the feeling I got from this video, so I'm not going to go into deep dive on that, but they do look very interesting, so if you want to watch the video and find out about them, go for it. If not, I'll not spoil it for you and you can find out when you play through the quest. Obviously, like me, I imagine there's a few of you who wanted to avoid too much details in the way of story spoilers or anything like that, so I will endeavour to avoid that for you here. A couple of those cool locations that have been modified. We saw a little bit, obviously, we've seen before of Fort Atlas. We saw the former Hawk's Refuge that has become Dagger's Den, which is now a raider encampment in the Mire. It's quite a big location. That looks like it's going to be quite significant, which is very, very cool, judging by the footage in here. And looking at one of the other areas that already exists, it's going to get more significant. The Treehouse Village that is in the sort of northern third or so, northern half of the Mire. That's going to have a group of individuals moving into it who have their own backstory, their own sort of group. Kind of like a faction, but as I say, a bit smaller. So it looks like there might be quests related to that. Not entirely sure, but there's certainly going to be interactions and all manner of things going on there that'll be quite interesting. Hopefully we'll get some dailies from them as well. So we'll have a little bit more to engage with there. It's a really cool location that if you've never had a look around, it's well worth it. So really happy to see that getting a little bit more use. And last but not least of the particularly interesting things I pulled out of the video was that there are 2 new allies coming with Steel Dawn. They've already told us that we are getting a couple more. They've also already said that these are light allies rather than full-blown quest allies like Beckett and Commander DeGuare. These are more like the other ones that you just pick up, they join your camp. The big difference here is these are actually going to be season rewards from the Season 3 that is coming up and due to start in December. So the 23rd of November, I believe, is when the current season Armor Race and the Power Patrol is due to end. So it'll be a few weeks in between that and the start of the new one, which will presumably coincide with the start of Steel Dawn. And yeah, as we work through that scoreboard, we'll be able to earn, amongst all the usual rewards and the new cosmetics and the like, 2 new allies that you can place in your camp. One of whom is a Brotherhood of Steel medic, who will be able to provide medical services for you, which is cool. That guy, I can imagine, will be quite a popular ally. And there's also a chef as well, which is an interesting choice, and she will cook meals for you. So, very, very cool, very interesting. So, all in all, yeah, some very interesting bits and pieces to be gleaned from this, but also some of it kind of relating to stuff we already knew about, but good to have a few more details and avoid spoilers at the same time. So, yeah, very cool stuff here, very, very excited for it. Looking forward to seeing what they've got for us, looking forward to the new items, new rewards, new storyline, and yeah, the new season should be interesting as well, which should be very, very cool. So, a couple of other things moving on from that. Hunt for the Treasure Hunter this weekend. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago that one went live and returned in its revamped form. It was definitely much better. I know a few people had a couple of issues with it, but on the whole I found the experience to be pretty solid. Didn't have too much trouble finding Treasure Hunter mole miners, and yeah, had good fun looking for them, and they were all over the place. The loot tended to be much better drops. I know some people had a bit of bad RNG on that, but that's kind of RNG. So, all in all, definitely improved, but they are coming back, so we get a second bite at the apple this week. That starts today at 12 PM Eastern Time. It's November the 5th, and will run through till 12 PM Eastern Time on November 9th, which should be Monday. So, for those in the UK, that is 5 PM for both of those. So, the community did an excellent job of driving the treasure hunter mole miners back into the depths after they emerged last month, but they're a persistent bunch. We've detected another surge in mole miner activity on the surface, and we believe they are planning to continue plundering the wasteland's hidden riches this weekend. It's time to grab your gear and prepare for another Hunt for the Treasure Hunter event, which begins a little later today. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for the treasure hunter mole miners throughout Appalachia. Once again, they're going to be all over the map. Take them down to claim some of their loot for yourself by opening mole miner pails, but they drop. And once again, if you'd like to, you can also purchase empty mole miner pails from vendors using caps. Then head to your Tinker's Workbench to craft the full mole miner pails that you can open and get some more loot. Keep in mind that higher quality pails offer better chances at rare rewards, as we will see you in the hunting grounds. So yeah, if you are struggling, what I would strongly recommend doing is maybe picking up a few of the ornate pails as you go through and try and grind out as many caps as you can so you can buy as many of those as possible. There's a limit to how many you can buy each day, so worth bearing that in mind. So that if, say, Monday daytime or possibly Sunday night, depending on what works for you, happens to roll around and you feel you're still a way off from getting the stuff you want, you'll be able to grab a load of those, craft them up, and hopefully get a few more bites at the apple. So if you plan ahead, you probably get the most out of that. On the other hand, if you don't particularly want to spend your caps on that, maybe do it at the last minute and get yourself something like a dozen extra bites at the apple or so, if you so desire. And you've got the caps for it, of course. So just food for thought there. But yeah, that event is coming back this weekend. It should be good fun. Looking forward to jumping into it myself. 2-year anniversary events. So not spectacular events here, but they're not bad. They're certainly not unwelcome by any stretch of the imagination. And I mean, it's 2 years. It's not a huge milestone anniversary, but it is quite cool. It's been nearly 2 years since we all left the cozy confines of Vault 76 to rebuild Appalachia and carve out new lives in a daunting and deadly wasteland. Join us in celebrating Fallout 76's 2-year anniversary next week with a pair of in-game events that will help you add some new rank-up rewards and legendary gear to your collections. So, first and foremost, a bonus challenges week. This is very, very welcome to me, as I've missed a few days along the way. Don't think I'm going to have too much trouble getting to the end of this season, but nonetheless, a little extra bonus is welcome. Give yourself just that little bit of extra margin of safety. So, starting on Tuesday, we are kicking off a full week of bonus challenges that you can rake in lots of extra score during your season journey and earn rank-up rewards even more quickly. In addition to your normal challenge lineup, you'll be able to complete 2 bonus daily challenges per day as well as 2 extra weekly challenges. Catch the exact dates and times below so you don't miss out on any of that sweet score. So, 2 extra bonus challenges per day and 2 extra weekly challenges. Not massive, but it's a little bonus, and obviously, so what we're looking at, 14 extra challenges plus 2 more for the weekly. So yeah, that's pretty decent. It's not huge, but yeah, it'll kind of give you a little bump, hopefully bump you up a rank or 2 along the way. So that's welcome, but not mind-blowing. I think I'd like to have something a bit more substantial, double. It is an anniversary after all, but they have done a couple of those recently already, so I guess we can't complain too much. But the details starts at 12 PM Eastern Time, November 10th, which I believe is Tuesday. Where's me moose gone? There it is. Yes, it is Tuesday. So, 12 PM Tuesday, running through till 12 PM on November the 17th, which will be the following Monday. That's Eastern Time, so if you're in the UK, then that will be 5 PM. So, very, very cool. And last but not least, Murmiga's Mystery Pick Sale. Probably my least favourite of the Purveyor's Legendary Sale events. As part of the anniversary festivities, Purveyor Murmiga is planning to host a special Mystery Pick event next weekend. For the first time ever, she's agreed to place her Mystery Pick on sale. Until November 16th, you'll be able to get completely random 3-star item for 25% off a usual Mystery Pick price. So it's slightly better, it's a bit cheaper than usual. Which is interesting because it's always cheaper than going for any other 3-star, like going for a specific one. But, normally you'll pick either a melee weapon or a ranged weapon or a piece of armor. This time, obviously, it rolls across the whole lot of 3-star pools, but it's going to be not just a little bit cheaper, but an additional 25%, so that's cool. At the same time, I think I'd still rather just go for the thing I want, but or have like 25% off across the board, but we'll take what we can get. It's fine. So be sure to gather your legendary script, head down to the Rusty Pick in the Ash Heap next week to claim some new legendary gear for your arsenal. So this is running from November 12th to November 16th. That is Thursday through to Monday. So that must mean that the bonus challenge is actually running Tuesday. My mistake. And the event will be, as per usual, 12 PM Eastern Time on each end. So that, once again, is 5 PM in the UK. So, very, very cool. All in all, a couple of interesting details here. Nice to hear a little bit more about Steel Dawn. Can find some interesting little tidbits out about that. There's some cool stuff to look forward to in there. Very, very much looking forward to jumping into that. Return of the Treasure Hunter and Mole Miners, definitely welcome. There's some cool items to be had from that particular event. I had fun with it last time, so looking forward to jumping into that this weekend. And the stuff next week is not mind-blowing, but it's a few extra bites at the score apple, so that's always fun and worth having. And the legendary sale, well, if you've got script burning a hole in your pocket, why not, I suppose. So, yeah, all in all, some cool stuff coming up. So, I do hope you found this all interesting and informative. If you did, please do consider dropping subs and likes for me. It's always very, very much appreciated. Social media links, merch store, and channel memberships all available down below the video if you're interested in supporting the channel that way, keeping up with what we're up to. And if you would like to, please do join us for one of the live streams as well. We're playing Fallout 76, we're playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and we're playing Prey at the moment as well, and having a lot of fun with all of those. It's been an interesting time in a couple of those, including some very cool story stuff, so I do hope I'll be seeing you there. For now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.